Thank you very much for the opportunity of this forum to talk about something that is very important to us in Ghana and also on the continent, and that is the Sustainable Development Goals. We know that they were adopted 2 years ago, and they have a target date of 2030. Two things, I think, I should say. One, the goals go together. The 17 of them are all interconnected. And if they're going to have the impact that we are looking for, all 17 of them at the end of the day have to work together. Secondly, global outcomes, if they're to succeed, means that they have to succeed in Africa. And that is for a reason that is manifest. Unfortunately, Africa, sitting on the greatest resources in the world, also has the poorest populations. So that if the goals are going to be seen to have succeeded, they will have been succeeded if they succeed in Africa. I think that the most important consideration for those of us who have been given the privilege of political leadership is to find a way of selling the goals to our populations as something that has a direct impact on their life. Not something that was created in New York by a group of politicians and bureaucrats to fashion things to keep them going, but that they are in fact intended to have an impact on the everyday lives of all of us. There's some, obviously, that can have directly a greater impact than others, and which are also measurable. As far as I'm concerned, the most important of them, of course, is education. If we can, and it is eminently feasible, be in a situation where by 2030 we can say that all of Africa's children are in school and having access to good quality education, the impact of that on the development of the continent and on the quality of life of the people would be enormous. We have started in Ghana a system of ensuring that there is free education all through the basic system. The basic educational system is defined as kindergarten, primary school, junior high school, and senior high school. And in the public system, all of those steps in the educational ladder are now free. The last plank was put in 2 weeks ago when I launched the free senior high school education in Ghana. Just a simple example of what it has done in terms of changing the dynamics of the lives of our people. Until this year, on an average, 100,000 Ghanaian youth dropped out of the educational system between junior high school and senior high school, largely because their parents couldn't afford it. So even though they had the educational qualification, it turned out that on an average, 100,000 children every year could not take up their places in the senior high school system. What would it mean? It would mean that over 10 years, in a country with a population of 27 million people, 1 million young people would have their education truncated at the level of junior high school and couldn't go. That's an unacceptable cost for any society that seeks to be organized on an intelligent basis. This year, which is the first introduction of the system of free senior high school education, the number has reduced from 100,000 to 36,000. And it's very much in its infant years, the implementation of the policy. And this 36,000 are not finding a place in the public schools, the senior secondary public schools, not because of money any longer, but because they weren't able to meet the qualifying mark. Part of the policy is to give them the opportunity to resit the exam and be able to join the stream of further education down the road. So we're talking about taking these goals at a level that would enable all of us, society, government, actors, state and non-state actors, to be able to measure the impact of the goals and their sustainability and realization. It's an important opportunity for the world community. There are many cynics who would say they're not possible. As always, the world community decides that Some things are important, and what it is, what is at stake? It's finding a way whereby all of us, in all parts of this globe, can find a way of living together in it in dignity, and being at the same time be able to protect the resources of the globe. It's an important development in world history, and for myself, well, to some extent I have a professional interest. I'm the co-chair of the group of advocates, the eminent group of eminent persons that Antonio Guterres has put together to sell the SDGs to the world. But it is something that is a major challenge. It's something that I believe is worth doing, and the obvious benefits of it to the global community are obvious. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to come and share some thoughts about this with you. Thank you.